So when I'm all shook up and I can't find the words, every time I get a hater, man, it hurt. Nope. Actually, I don't care. So hi, my name is Noah. I'm a Hebrew teacher, but most importantly, and especially for this video, I am a proud Jew and a very, very proud Israeli. So I've been teaching Hebrew for many years through theater, music, and I have this channel, and I'm glad to say that it's slow, but it's an ongoing channel all the time, and it makes me super happy to bring the message of Hebrew to anyone who wants to learn it. So I get to a lot of people across the board, really everywhere in the world, and I have a lot of people who appreciate it, and I also have some haters, especially now during the war. And I'm really not gonna talk about them or their comments because I truly don't care. As I said, I'm a proud Jew and a very proud Israeli. But I do know that I have brothers and sisters across the world, around the world, who are feeling a bit confused seeing the demonstration, the protest, the attacks on Jews, not just Israelis, but Jews in general. And just lately, a few days ago, there was a horrific terror attack, 2 people murdered in Washington. So really, it's very confusing and it's very painful. And so this video is for my brothers and sisters who I love dearly. By the way, my brothers and sisters are Jews across the world, but also non-Jews who wants to learn Hebrew, who wants to come with light and peace and love and be more focused on that than anything else. So if you want to learn Hebrew and you come with light and love, then this video is for you. I don't care which religion you are. And I want to teach you, because it is going to be a Hebrew lesson nonetheless. I want to teach you and I want to bring you more power and strength. And I want to do it through the Hebrew language, because Hebrew is not just another language. The case of Hebrew and the story of Hebrew is a very, very unique story. It's a language rooted in a story and a history of more than 3,500 years. It's a very ancient language. It's a language that was resurrected, something that has never been done before or after with ancient languages. It's a language and a story about a reality, an impossible reality that survives against all odds. It's a story about a miracle. So, are you ready to get some strength and learn some Hebrew? Let's dive right into it. Okay, so the first sentence is actually something more in modern Hebrew that is kind of a phrase, and we say, עברנו את פרעה, נעבור גם את זה. Meaning, we went through Pharaoh in Egypt, so we'll also overcome this, whatever this might be. It could be something big like a war, and it could be something small like I had a bad day, or something went well in business, or with my partner, or with a friend. It's kind of like saying we shall overcome, this too shall pass, but we take our history. And why is it so powerful? Why does it give me so much strength? Well, yeah, first it talks about going from the darkest place, I mean, being slaves in Egypt under Pharaoh, to going to freedom, to the light, to God. Yes, but there's more to it. It reminds me always when I use it that we have a history of thousands and thousands of years. Thousands and thousands of years that our nation is being persecuted, and still we're here. And I view it as a proof of a miracle. It's a proof of someone, God, obviously, keeping us, guarding us, keeping His promise to us. So yeah, it's modern Hebrew, but it's so, so deep and meaningful to me and shows a very ancient and deep history. Okay, the second word is ruach. Ruach is wind, but also spirit. In English, 2 words that has no connection to each other. In other languages, I truly don't know. I would love for you to let me know. But in Hebrew, it's the same exact word. My explanation is that wind is something that you don't see. You don't actually see the wind, but you know it's there. How come? We see the consequences of it, right? We see the leaves kind of shaking, we feel the wind, we see the hair blowing, and so we know that there's wind. We never ever ask ourselves, is there a wind or isn't there a wind? But spirit is the same thing. We don't actually see the spirit, but we see the consequences of it, and we definitely feel it. And people say, is there a spirit? Maybe we're just pieces of meat going in the world. Well, no, definitely there is a spirit. You know, when you get to a room and you feel that vibe, when you meet someone and you feel like you know them instantly, that's the spirit. So in Hebrew, it's the same word to show us, yeah, you don't actually have to see things to know that they're there. I love it. The next one, 2 words, neshama v'neshima. Neshama, soul, neshima, breathing. Now, it's the same letters, nun, shin, mem, hey, but there's one letter kind of dissecting the word into 2, which is yud. This letter is a very powerful letter. It's also the letter that is in the holy name of God, and this letter represents God. And I'm going to talk about it in many, many other words. And you know, we have the soul, but only when God gives us the opportunity to breathe, then we can be here, living. And it's kind of dissecting, and this is the way I view it. You don't have to agree, but the way I view it, this you kind of dissect the word into 2, before and after. Before, we have our breathing ability that God gives us, you know, the option to live, and the after, which is living. And that's the way I see it, before living and after living. And for me, it's an ongoing circle. It's something that is happening all the time, because we have the beginning and then the end and then back again. So let's go to another word, which is exactly in the same idea, and that's life, chaim. But what's interesting, other than we have 2 yuds, obviously, that chaim is only in a plural form. We don't have singular form. So in English, it's kind of funny, because you don't say, how are you? My lives are good. Your lives? What do you mean? You have more than one? But in Hebrew, that's what we say. We don't have a life. We have lives. And it's really not weird, because that's the only thing we use. For us, it's the same, life, lives. They're only plural form. But it also tells me that there's this circle, this ongoing journey of the soul, because in Hebrew, you don't have just one life. You always have it in plural, because you come here to live and to do these journeys in order to have tikkun, which means to correct your ways, the way you do things in the world. So we never just end and finish. And just like I said, we're not just meat suits. We're much more than that. I love Hebrew. I get emotional and a bit excited when I talk about the meaning. Sorry, my English is also kind of gets in the way when I'm emotional, but it really makes me emotional to see this beautiful, wonderful, ancient, smart, wise language that does give me a lot of power, I have to say. Okay, remember the yud? Let's talk about another one. So this one, also 2 words. One is echad, which is one, and yachad, which is together. It's the same word except the first letter. So echad, we have aleph. Aleph is the first letter, and also aleph, you know, in Hebrew, every letter gets a number. And aleph is 1, the number 1. Yachad, we have the yud of God, as we said. And also, yachad is the number 10. And 10 is the most minimalistic number of people that can pray together, minyan. Now, obviously, you can pray alone whenever you want. You don't need to have 10 people. But for some prayers you do, and it's kind of like a critical mass. It's like the minimum is 10 people to create this energy together of people praying. And it does wonders in the world. Trust me, I've been in places where we prayed more than 10 people, hundreds of people, and you see miracles when people pray together. You know, if you lose the aleph and you lose the yud, then you have chad. Chad is sharp, meaning that if you don't have the one and you don't have everyone together, echad v'yachad, things are becoming too sharp, too harsh, and we need this aleph. We need to be one ourselves, you know, individuals, but we also, in this individuality, is that a word? We are together as well, and that's important as well. I mean, just think of our body. We have to have hands or legs or mouth to speak, but if we just had one mouth and that's it, or our whole body was constructed out of many feet or noses, then we couldn't walk, we couldn't think, we couldn't talk. So we need this individual parts everywhere, but we need it all to combine together for the body, the organism to work. If you come to Israel, you can see different religions, different people, different nations, different vibes, different, you know, religious people, secular, whatever, young, old, people from all around the world. It's really a melting pot, and you see so many different people, and that's the amazing thing. This is what gets this country going, right? We have Jews and Christians and Muslims and people that are old and young and religious and secular, and everyone is here, and this is what builds the organism so strong and wonderful. Still with the yud, I told you it's a very important letter. So ish, written like this, is a man. Isha, written like that, is a woman. And you can see that the letters aleph and shin are combined in both ish and isha, and they create the word esh, fire. So a fire can be something great. We want a fire between a man and a woman, but a fire can also be bad. So yes, passion is fire, but also arguing and bickering, that's also fire. And if you don't have the yud and the he, which are letters of God, if you don't have the spirit in this union, in the man and the woman together, then you're gonna get a lot of fire. But if you do, then it could be amazing and very passionate. Well, the word Israel, we cannot not talk about it, right? Israel, if you look at the letters, and again, in Hebrew, everything has roots. Nothing is ever without a reason. I always say it. We have roots, we have buildings. It's very structured. Sorry, I know that there's a lot of exceptions and it's really annoying, but there are exceptions because we have a lot of patterns. We have very exact patterns. And so if you have something that is exceptional, it's kind of, you know, irritating, whatever. But it's one of the languages that has more patterns. That is why we also have more exceptions. That is how it goes. We really have patterns and we have roots. So Israel is also Yashar El, meaning straight to God, meaning we can just speak to God. We don't need people to speak for us. We don't need to come to a specific place. Obviously, we want to pray in a synagogue sometimes, but you don't have to do it to be able to talk to God. In Judaism, you can speak to God whenever you want, however you want, obviously with respect, but you don't have to read the prayers in order to talk to God. If you don't know how to read the prayers, you can still pray. And you have this direct connection to our God, to the Spirit. Also, Israel have the names of all our fathers and mothers. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. So let's see. Yud is Yitzchak and Yaakov. Shin is Sarah, our mother, one of the mothers. Resh is Rachel and Rivka. Aleph is Avraham, Abraham, and Lamed is Leah. Isn't it amazing? Just look at the chart. Isn't it amazing that all our mothers and fathers have their name embedded in this word, in this name that was given to Yaakov? Listen, there's so much more in Hebrew. I don't presume to know even the half of it. People who really know the deep, deep meaning of the words, of the letters, of the numbers. I mean, these are secrets. They're in Kabbalah. And I don't mean Kabbalah like Madonna's learning. I mean Kabbalah like people who has dedicated their lives to learning. I mean, their whole lives, from being 15 to 80 and 90 years old. This is how hard it is to learn it. You need to be in a very, very spiritual place and spiritual level to learn these words. I don't presume to be in one or to know it, or neither do I try to. This is just my views of these words as a Hebrew teacher, someone who loves Hebrew. But I can tell you that the secrets are much deeper than these. This is really a very special language. You know, a language that was given to us, and there's something spiritual and holy in it. So I do hope that I gave you some strength and power, or at least made you love Hebrew, or at least made you think a little bit about spirit and being spiritual. I know that for me, it is an ongoing journey as a secular Tel Avivian girl to someone who believes and prays and feels a deep, deep, deep connection to my religion, to my God, to my country, to my people. Always, and even more so since October 7th. It just makes me more stronger in my beliefs, in my identity. And yeah, it's all connected to Hebrew as well. So keep safe, my brothers and sisters, and all our allies and friends. I love you guys. Until the next video.